smiley out of your media. The others tell it, but they truths have some limits. We got that food for soul, not what they feeding you. Black lives matter all the time. Yeah, let's talk about it. About the school to prison pipeline. Yeah, let's talk about it. Police brutality out of line. Yeah, let's talk about it. All these thoughts running through my mind. We gotta talk about it. I am unapologetically progressive in efforts to fight for the people. Gotta exercise our voting rights and then push the needle. I'm walking tall, cause I know that y'all expect me to lead. To push the message I am willing to bleed. I gotta get what I need. That's social reform, that's prison reform. I'm highly informed, don't put down a pen. I got a list, I can't resist. I preach it till I talk with a list. And who you know gon' give it to you like this? And here on KBLA Talk 1580, we gon' get into it. The whole world on smiley out of your media. The others tell it, but they truths have some limits. We got that food for soul, not what they feeding you. Black lives matter all the time. Yeah, let's talk about it. About the school to prison pipeline. Yeah, let's talk about it. Police brutality out of line. Yeah, let's talk about it. All these thoughts running through my mind. We gotta talk about it.
Yeah, man, let's talk about it. We got a lot to talk about right here. KBLA Talk 1580. Welcome to the Danny Morrison Show. The whole 9 in the nighttime, right at 9, ready to blaze up another Tuesday night broadcast for all the kings and queens and everybody in between. If you're a black person living in the city of Los Angeles and are currently listening to this broadcast, I'm willing to bet that you're in the process of planning what festivities you'll be a part of, which will likely be immersed within our beautiful black culture as we inch closer to the annual Juneteenth holiday. LA will be ablaze all this weekend with multiple events taking place, which will give us the opportunity to smile with one another, dance with one another, shop with one another, and most importantly, get to know one another. From the invitations I've received over the past few weeks, is guaranteed to be evidence of multiple conjurings of black magic all up and down the West Coast from Friday all the way up until the new federal Juneteenth holiday on Monday. And unless something happens that thwarts the tidal wave of incoming black love, it's primed to be all love all the time, and I cannot wait. As for me, I'll be making a trek down to the city of Bakersfield to spend Juneteenth/Father's Day weekend with my babies while simultaneously celebrating the greatness of black people and black dads from far and wide. But as I was navigating through all of the animated Afrocentric activity options, I noticed one glaring issue that has become more and more prevalent in these types of holiday weekends that should be cause for concern, at least from my standpoint. Let me explain. You see, the establishment of the Juneteenth holiday has been a lightning rod for racists and people on the right, which some might surmise is the same thing, ever since President Joe Biden signed the legislation into law 2 years ago this month. It will become the first new federal holiday established since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day was established nearly 4 decades ago. And once that legislation was signed, I fully expected for MAGA Nation and the knuckle-dragging Jethro section of social media to tee off afterwards, because there are 3 guarantees in this life: death, taxes, and racists always gone racist. It's what they do. Especially since it's the perfect fodder for them to work at continuing to try and reinforce the same white supremacist stereotypes and narratives that they've been spewing since the advent of this country. But Father's Day is supposed to be a day when black dads are supposed to be celebrated. Daddies, granddaddies, stepdaddies, baby daddies, and more. It's the one day of the year when we are not only supposed to be celebrated within our own families, but we're supposed to collectively celebrate the kings overall. Well, at least that's the way I view things from my perspective. However, 50 Cent shockingly sees things from a different viewpoint. Listen.
Father's Day is a holiday that's not really a holiday. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is like, I show you how this, even by the commercials. Look at the commercials. They'll show you Father's Day, they'll show you a screwdriver, a power tool. Like, go fix some shit. They want to see you to go fix it. You know what I'm saying? But then when Mother's Day come, be like Zales. Because you care. It be like you don't want diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll do it for their mother, but they ain't gonna do it for their father. Mother's Day come, just getting flowers, cards, all kinds of shit, right? What they get Father's Day? You get a text on Father's Day. That's it, you get a text. You get a text to make sure that you still know where you should send your check.
Oof. Jesus, 50 Cent Jackson. One of the great orators of our time, obviously. I disagree with his opinions and tactics pretty regularly, but this time, maybe. But his overarching message confirms that he's right about one thing. Father's Day ain't what it used to be. I don't mean comparatively with the Mother's Day holiday in May. I mean from a content perspective, within the communities of color. I just feel that white people are allowed to continue to adhere to the true definition of what Father's Day is supposed to look like and sound, while we African Americans spend our time talking about the infrastructural shortcomings of America in an attempt to strategize on how to keep our daddies around. So allow me to take you even further inside my emotions tonight by loading you all back into my KBLA time machine for additional perspective. Blaze it up, Andy. Let's go. Come on. Where we going? 1,580 gigawatts. Gigawatts? Who? What? Well, I'm going to take you the shortest distance we have ever traveled inside my KBLA time machine. Only 1 year back to 2022. It was 1:22 a.m. early that morning. Hours earlier that night, my two sons took me out for Father's Day, which included a flick, some camera clicks, and some heartfelt and occasionally funny quips between each other. My kids and some casual conversations. It was cool. While I was scripting this, I'm lying in my bed on my back in the dark with my smartphone being the only thing illuminated in the room. The house is quiet. I can faintly hear the cars whizzing by on Manchester Boulevard, which is the main thoroughfare in the area of Inglewood I live. There's a large bottle of smart water on the floor next to me, which will be my main source of hydration as I wake up multiple times throughout the night, which is pretty customary for me. But that bottle of water wasn't the only water that will be making an appearance that evening. My eyes were watery. I'm emotional. That day was set to be a Father's Day for the ages, yet the tone was mired in conversations involving the Juneteenth holiday, George Floyd, Joe Biden, law enforcement, the cradle-to-prison pipeline, and Black Lives Matter. I just wanted to sit and watch Jurassic World Dominion, which is absolutely terrible, by the way, in peace and get lost in that fantasy world. Instead, I found myself discussing social issues that seemed to be as prehistoric as the dinosaurs themselves. I just wanted to share a meal with my young kings while feasting on the finest of seafood delights, man. Instead, something fishy was going on because we found ourselves talking politics and social issues because that is subject matter that organically materialized for us to chew on that night. Instead, our time together turned into a miniaturized version of a Black Lives Matter summit. So, dear white people, I time-stamped my writing of this opening monologue so that you may get the full gist of my pain in real time. I usually follow a template I've constructed that contains flowery language and metaphors and the occasional humor that tends to effectively get my point across, but not tonight, though. I'm too emotional to follow my personal protocol. I'm willing to bet that your Father's Day will be filled with laughter and familial fun. A multi-generational walk through memory lane with kids playing all around you, huh? Reminiscing about the good old days while sifting through some family photo albums, huh? Not mine. My 2022 and likely even my 2023 version was mired in a tonal angst that forced me into a position where questions needed to be answered. You don't understand what it's like to be African American, and my children always want clarity. We found ourselves talking about what it's like growing up in a poverty-stricken neighborhood. We talked about what the true definition of a ghetto neighborhood actually is. We also talked about what it actually means to be black, and whether a young African-American male can ever drift into the ideological side of the tracks where conservatives and Republicans reside. And I couldn't believe I was spending Father's Day waxing poetic about growing up poor and on welfare and how it made me the man I am today. And it reminded me back in 2017 when my Father's Day festivities were hijacked in much the same way. Because while I was eagerly anticipating spending time with my children again, this was happening all around us at the same time. CBS Evening News was on the case. Listen.
It took just seconds for a routine traffic stop to turn deadly. And today, graphic video of the encounter was made public just a few days after a Minnesota police officer was found not guilty of manslaughter. Mireya Villarreal reports.
The newly released dashcam video shows the moment when Officer Geronimo Yanez stopped Philando Castile for a broken taillight last July, first asking Castile for his license and registration.
I have to tell you, I do have a firearm on me. Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out.
Within 90 seconds
Still
of making the
infuriates
stop,
me.
the 29-year-old officer fired 7 shots. Castile's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, was in the passenger seat. She streamed the immediate aftermath on Facebook Live.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are.
As Officer Yanez continued to point his weapon at Castile, you can see an officer coax and pick up Reynolds' then 4-year-old daughter, who was in the back seat during the shooting.
Get the baby girl out of here.
Yanez was quickly suspended from the St. Anthony, Minnesota Police Department and soon indicted for manslaughter. During the trial, Yanez said he feared for his life and thought Castile, a 32-year-old school cafeteria worker, was pulling out a gun he was licensed to carry. Friday, the jury acquitted Yanez of all charges. Valerie Castile is Philando's mother.
My firstborn one son died here in Minnesota. Under the circumstances, just because he was a police officer, that makes it okay. Oh, now they got free reign. He's found innocent on all counts.
Castile family members were reportedly stunned when they saw the video during the trial. And Anthony, according to their attorney, they are planning to file a lawsuit against the city as well as the police department here.
Maria, thanks.
Yes, Philando Castile was dead. Law enforcement once again shot and killed a black man and no one paid the price for it. And the Morrison children wanted Daddy to explain why this continues to happen. As you all might remember, the Castile case was supposed to be different. He followed the rules. He was licensed to carry a gun. He was fully compliant. Yet once again, those same 5 magic words rose to the surface and successfully absolved the officer in question of any wrongdoing. I feared for my life. I want anyone listening to this to tell me what I'm supposed to tell my sons in these situations. The go-to response from citizens that feel police officers are infallible is always, follow the officer's orders and you'll find that all your problems will disappear. Well, Castile did, and he is dead. I want you to help me explain to my sons how law enforcement is supposedly here to protect and serve, yet they constantly see the imagery of black men being shot and killed by fellow black civilians and are rightfully convicted, yet police officers do the same thing and never are. And I want you to also help me explain to my sons how there are actually people in this country that truly believe that young African-American males are genetically predisposed to be prone to violence. And what's sad is that we do nothing but corroborate the stereotypes of the most racist white American contingent when we choose to harm our own, assuming this is another tragic case of black-on-black crime, just like this story that hit way too close to home that Andy brought to our attention last night because KTLA Channel 5 was on the case. Listen.
Heartbroken. I just spoke to the 16-year-old victim's aunt, who tells me this is a young boy who had so much promise, who was bright and smart. He was on the honor roll. He was on the basketball team in high school, that this was a person who was going places in life. Now, Lauren, I'm standing here on Western Avenue and 74th Street. I understand from police that just a few doors down on Western, there was a party, a high school flyer party happening right around 11:30 p.m. and midnight. That is when the 16-year-old victim left the party and was walking straight down here on 74th Street. And this is where that 16-year-old was shot and killed. You can see right there in front of those blue homes, the white sheet that police put over the body before the coroner, who just left a few minutes ago, took the body of the victim who was shot and killed.
Rest in peace, Quincy Reese Jr. Absolutely heartbreaking. My prayers go out to the family tonight. But that's the boys in black. Now back to the boys in blue, though. Help me explain to my sons how I've never seen a police department call a press conference after the shooting of a black citizen and officially proclaim we got this one wrong, ever. Yeah, we live in a litigious society, but settlement checks will be written to the family of the deceased regardless, right? Help me explain to my sons how there's a distinct possibility that he could be murdered because a police officer can simply get it wrong. There's a chance he could lose his life on a technicality solely because an officer feared for his life, and I'm sick of it, man. Because it's not fair. What will you white people be watching this weekend? Perhaps a little Major League Baseball, which is currently suffering a shortage of African-American players, by the way. Maybe you'll be on social media, which is the primary driver for content that disparages the image people worldwide have about us black people. Or maybe you'll take a little trip down to the sunny state of Florida, the state whose Department of Education rejected 54 math textbooks, about 41% of publisher submissions for content that officials said tried to indoctrinate students or expose them to dangerous and divisive concepts, barricading itself against critical race theory so that they won't have to hear the true story of America. Ignorance may be bliss, but racial prejudice is definitely amiss. So while we will be sitting up upset, contemplating whether or not we are running out of time for legislative changes regarding issues pertaining to the plight of the African American, you will probably be upset that your backyard party ran out of barbecue sauce. Oh, the horror. In conclusion, my Caucasian counterparts that may be listening tonight, while you will be grilling the finest of meats at your backyard Father's Day barbecue, I will likely once again be grilled by my children on the perils of growing up black in America, with tears included. Now I dare you to tell me that you still don't support reparations for my people, or that you don't understand the concept of Black Lives Matter. Happy Juneteenth, and happy early Black Father's Day. Although I doubt you'll care either way, considering this white supremacist society is going exactly your way. But that's just me. Tell me what you think, LA. What are your plans for Father's Day weekend? Will you spend it with your family? Huh? Perhaps you'll spend it alone. Tell me some family traditions, your family, that we might find interesting. Also, do you celebrate Juneteenth yet? I know. Do you really celebrate it, though? I know that the law is fairly new, but have you already established traditions that you'll be sharing with your family? And lastly, am I by myself? Do you also find yourself spending more time discussing race relations and social issues and politics and more at your black family gathering than you used to? If not, what is your secret, huh? How do you separate the two? And if you do, what do you believe is the reason our family gatherings have become more political these days? Holla at your boy. Your voice to change, voice to community, your voice is on. 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. You can also stream us via the brand new KBLA streaming app on your app store, iOS or Android. It don't matter. That same app allows you to send me your questions and comments that I will answer live at different intervals throughout the broadcast. Plus, like, share, and follow your favorite radio station live on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KBLA 1580. Feel free to follow me at Danny Mo Show on those same platforms too, plus the Danny Mo Show as usual. We'll take your comments via the ecosystem of our social network. Check this out. When we come forward, I will add another 7 series to add to the topic of conversation tonight. Look, I'm a proud father, but we fathers come in many shapes and sizes. Fathers are changing the lives of many children around the world, and not just the biological kind. That's why my 7 series tonight is 7 fathers that deserve a happy Father's Day this year. Yes, there's a wide assortment of fathers out here who understand the societal fight, which is exactly why I will devote my 7 series to a few of them tonight. Stay tuned. Add to the conversation with your phone calls when we come forward. Welcome to the Danny Morrison Show on Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about. Let's ride. Come on.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. From middays to nighttime. Like George and Wheezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know that all City of LA renters have rights? Check out these 3 facts. Residential tenants can't be evicted without reason or just cause. Eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt due before March 31st, 2023. And you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice. 5 days. Many Angelinos may be at risk of losing their home, and that's why we want you to know your rights. Learn more at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that has between 26 and 49 employees and you paid COVID sick leave in 2021 or 22, you may qualify for reimbursement through a state grant program administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. Learn more at covidpaidsick.com.
Lowe's knows the best deals for dad. That's why this Father's Day, you can shop our best gifts from the brands he loves, like Craftsman, for less. Right now, get a V20 drill or impact driver kit for just $69. And save $50 on a V20 string trimmer and blower combo kit, now only $99. Shop Father's Day deals today in-store and online. Lowe's knows dads. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 6/14 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Broadcasting live from Lamert Park, California, streaming live on the KBLA YouTube page as we speak. I'm not here to tell you how to think, but I am here to tell you what to think about. We black in the spot. Another episode of the Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. Once again, I'm asking my loyal Danny Mo Show YouTube listeners, hit that like right now. Somebody came in early and said that. Who said that? Somebody gave us love on YouTube. Did somebody say that early? Nazarene X, I appreciate you. You blowing up the YouTube feed. That's a beautiful thing. You got to call the show sometime. I hear you call Zoe's show. You got to call the show sometime, especially on a topic like this one. I believe this is right up your alley with a name like Nazarene X. I'm going to assume. But let me read some comments real quick. He says, much love. I just slid through. I'm assuming this is a male, by the way. Is it? I just slid through to show love. Looking forward to catching replay of this show for sure. Everyone here, please hit that like button to show your support of our brother Danny Mo. What's up? He know what's up on the show. Appreciate you, King. He said, mindless madness. This conversation is an absolute must. Not speaking with them, but us having a conversation, coming to a universal consensus about us. Our answers, our decisions, our resolve. Absolutely, man. Some of these conversations get uncomfortable for people. Whenever you talk about us harming one another, people always come up with their excuses. Well, we poor. Well, we've been through so much. Well, you don't understand the trials and tribulations that we as a people have been through. I go, oh, look, I understand all that. But when it comes to us harming one another, y'all will never, I've been saying it from jump, you will never give me a viable reason, a viable excuse on why we would harm one another. Ever. Sorry. I don't want to hear about poverty. I don't want to hear about history. Why in the hell will we ever harm another black man? Ever. I'm talking to the kings tonight. Give me a viable reason. I dare you. You can't. And that king that lost his life, what's his name, Reese? When Quincy Reese loses his life, he's 16 years old. That cat was walking home from a party or something. He loses his life. 3.4 GPA, Crenshaw High, gone. Why? You got to be kidding me, yo. Let's go to the phones real quick. Nazarene is on the phone, just like that. Man. I need Janet Jackson to call too. Nazarene, give me your height, your color, and your hood. Come on, Nazarene. You know how we do the show. Come on.
Already speak into existence all that you need.
Oh, okay.
Man, I'm just out here, but you said the color and the hood.
Yeah,
man,
we do height, color, hood on the Danny Mo Show. What's yours?
Man, I'm limitless, invisible, and with the squad at KBLA.
All right. Where you calling from? At least give us that.
I'm out here. I got you. ATL.
ATL, checking in. Drop tag from Atlanta. All right, what's on your mind tonight? I see you in the thread. How you feel about that? My opening monologue and the topic of discussion tonight.
Bro, but that was heavy, man, and it was a blessing to even be able to drop through. This is one of my first times catching your show, and I love the angle, the passion that you're speaking to, and how you draw an attention to such a very much so needed conversation. I'm with you on that tenacity aspect. And even just a few moments ago, I heard you kind of pose that question of, what's the excuse for, a black man killing another black man?
Is there, Nazarene,
So,
is there ever a legitimate, viable, tangible excuse that one black man should kill another?
Here's the taboo point. I'm going to just toss this up in the air. I'm not saying that there is.
Okay.
This is a point of consideration, however. In terms of, well, first I'll preface it with, just because you black don't mean you're not a white supremacist. Right?
Okay.
So when we dealing with the symptoms and the results of a wicked system that we are fully aware of, shout outs to Dr. Nelly Fuller Jr., the system of racism, white supremacy. To that point, I would say, unfortunately, when a wicked agenda steps to your door as the one on the throne, or say the men here of our people, we can try to imagine offering a certain level of grace to one another. However, when the wickedness precedes all of that quote-unquote race, it's not about the skin color. It's about the energy. It's about the intent, the infiltration. So as one who is protecting or fortifying, the household, the community, it's unfortunately like anybody could get. It don't matter if you come through it wearing camouflage. If you're wearing the uniform of the enemy, ashe. So prayerfully, what we do as black men and women, we learn to disconnect or derobe ourselves of that uniform, that enemy territory uniform. So that comes with us having this keen eye to look to our points of unification.
But let me push back on that a little bit, and maybe you can answer this on the other side. Do you mind holding until we come back on the other side? Can we do that?
Nah, I'm with you.
All right, I just want to ask you this. You could marinate on this and give me an answer on the other side. Because Quincy Reese, who lost his life here a few days ago, that wasn't about kill or be killed. It don't sound like. It sounded like just a kid walking home. Now, I understand you saying kill or be killed. You're going to defend yourself regardless of what color you are, regardless of what neighborhood you're in, regardless of what color you're wearing. Kill or be killed, you got to defend yourself. You have to try to explain to me how young kings are out here losing their lives for nothing, Nazarene. For nothing. Tell me on the other side. 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. We will take more phone calls. The YouTube is ablaze. We got my man Damien coming in at the top of the hour. We'll talk Black Father's Day. We'll talk mentoring tonight. We got a great 7 series, a great Danny Mo show, KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about right now. News and traffic. Stay there.
Nighttime is the right time for Danny Morrison on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Authorities in Philadelphia have recovered a body along I-95 where a tanker caught fire over the weekend. That eventually led to the collapse of an elevated portion of the interstate on Sunday morning. Governor Josh Shapiro has since declared an emergency declaration with the goal of accelerating repairs to the heavily traveled roadway. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is looking for another police commissioner following the abrupt resignation of Keishant Sewell yesterday. She became the first woman to be in charge of the NYPD, but reports indicate she was frustrated after being micromanaged and in a power struggle. Mayor Eric Adams, who is black, praised Sewell for helping lower crime, and Sewell drew praise from the largest police union, the PBA. However, Black Lives Matter released a statement saying her appointment was an effort by the mayor to apply a failed way of policing. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
At Southern California Edison, they're installing insulated power lines and using the latest technology to help keep our communities safe from wildfire. Learn more at sce.com/mitigation.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCES scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, today's topic,
I love you, Eddie, I swear.
is a remake of a classic to
Give me
promote
some juice on that, come on!
repercussions all around me. Here in Kern County, shots fired from fussing, battle scars, concussions, negative impressions on the kids. So to crush that ignorant stereotype, here's what we did. Recruited all the hottest in the town, bona fide from east side, west side to end all this homicide.
When I was young, to be a killer was never cool. It's such a low life, but we put it on a pedestal. Hard-headed hooligans in the street instead of school, trying to climb ranks using hate as a stepping stool. Another victim falls that wasn't supposed to get involved. No longer see your kids, and life is dark inside them prison walls. But the future's bright if we give them the proper guidance. Enough's enough, now it's time that we stop the violence.
Open your eyes, why are you blind? You can't see that heat of light. You can't see just how we need them while they out here taking lives. Repercussions to this stunt and reward is a tea and nights. Trade away all your potential for an ordinary life. Give me the mic, put the pistol down, it's time to get it right. Do away with all this hatred, systematic genocide. Problematic for the population, popping off these lines when really all this time you just been killing your bloodline.
All that jerking and twerking, you ain't born for that.
You
And
were
all
checking
that.
out the Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. That is Self-Destruction 2.0 from your boy. Part of my hashtag How Long movement. We did that back in 2016? 16, I believe. Yeah, 6 years ago. As you guys know, the original Stop the Violence movement put out Self-Destruction back in 1989, I believe. And KRS-One and a bunch of East Coast rappers did the same thing, took all the hottest rappers and, shot in different locations and talked about what was going on with gun violence, especially at the rap concerts that were happening at that time. I did the same thing in my hometown, Bakersfield, made it Self-Destruction 2.0, took the hottest rappers in the game inside our area, shot in location in prisons and funeral homes and schools and so on and so forth, and it went viral. And it's kind of my magnum opus of my entire career, to be honest with you. And shout out to Beacon Studios, who I do all of my work with back in my hometown. Shout out to John and Jason. I appreciate y'all. All the MCs back at Bakersfield. And by the way, I'm already preliminarily putting something together to do the same thing in Los Angeles. Take some LA MCs, do the same thing.
Danny Mo, that'll be huge.
Self-Destruction 3.0, Los Angeles.
That'll be huge.
We gonna do it.
Make it happen.
We gonna make it happen. I already got a couple, Miles Lowe, you know what I'm saying? Come on. You know Miles Lowe go come out the gates and burn it up. You know how we do. So if you guys want to see it yourself, by the way, go to YouTube, type in Danny Morrison, Self-Destruction 2.0. You can check it out.
I just wanted to say that it was quite amazing that you already knew what it was before the beat even dropped.
Yeah.
You just knew it was that, though.
I was like, oh, yeah, I know what's up. I've heard that thing 10 million times. By the way, we showed that at the Fox Theater to debut it on a 4K screen in front of a packed house when we debuted it. Front page of the paper and all. It was huge, man. And I show it at schools and prisons, and it's now part of my entire motivational speaking tour. So I'm going to do more of that, too, here in Los Angeles. Trying to start that this year, if we can get it going. By the way, back to the phones real fast. Nazarene is back on the phone. Now, I need you to answer my question out of ATL. Even though before I let you go, I want you to give me who is the king of the South. We were talking about that the other night. We're going to ask you since you're there.
Oh, wow.
But I need you to tell me, these young bucks are out here are just killing each other for frivolous reasons. Now, I understand. If somebody come in your house, you're going to have to take that cat out. If somebody press up on you and your family when you out and about, you're going to have to take that cat out. I get the self-defense angle of this entire discussion, but that ain't what's happening all the time, Nazarene. Matter of fact, I'd venture to say that's not what's happening most of the time. So how do we combat against that?
I believe as a unit, there should be more action taken in terms of instilling what discipline is all about. Like the element of restraint. That's what a lot of these wicked police officers and so forth are like not actually putting forth. They remain and even in that clip you were talking about with our brother, what was it, Castile?
Yeah,
I believe it
Philando Castile back in 2017. Yeah.
Right. It's just like in that aspect, and I'm not straying away from it, but to quickly tie it in, there's an element of restraint or coherence, right?
Yeah.
Clearly, that officer was incoherent in the sense of enacting a sense of blind rage, or so afraid that was disconnected in the fact of giving a command that was leading to a so-called excuse to murder someone.
He shot that cat 7 times, man. 7 times.
Exactly. And they acted frantic in this and the third. There's no composure there. In a lot of different ways, we circle it, regardless of the uniform, when people lose their composure, people end up getting hurt. So again, in terms of us dealing with our own, as long as martial arts, like real martial arts, again, it's not about just fighting and taking people out. A lot of this senseless violence of just kill or be killed mentality, I'm aware of how the streets work, but that's part of our issue is just we haven't built up a level of discipline, self-discipline, to understand that part of dealing with a threat, there is a level of responding to such where it's just like, look, you neutralize a threat. That doesn't mean you have to kill someone.
Here's the problem,
neutralize a threat.
Nazarene. Here's the problem. Number one, daddies ain't in the home. Number two, we ain't involved with the church anymore. I don't know what your faith is, but I'm just talking about religion in general. We're not doing that anymore. Who's gonna teach these young bucks? Who gonna do it?
Well, apparently, brothers like yourself, you know, there are brothers out here, even sisters too, in terms of whether it's firearms, weapons training, or spiritual guidance. Maybe it's on us to remain as proactive as possible, because it is a whole situation where the lack of mentorship, guidance, people that are actually present. Like, I don't know if y'all got that on the West Coast, but like even the old school Boys and Girls Club and such.
Yeah, we got it.
Like, yeah, perfect. So it's like maybe just getting back down to that and just highlighting those arenas, not necessarily focusing on how there's such a lack, but maybe instead of now just keeping the talking points to echo how there is a lack there, if you have the space within your life or your heart or what have you, continue to tap into shows like this, or move to just link up with your neighbor, be an uncle to someone, be an auntie to someone or whatnot, but lean in with a level of love to where you continuously bridge those gaps. I do understand where the lack of it in the household is contributing to our demise. However, wherever these children are, I believe that responsible adults should remain present on whatever, on whatever level. And part of that is part of the solution to me, versus it being more of a hands-up thing, we can't get over this hump. Like, maybe that's where, instead of being afraid of being defeated or giving up in that sense, it's almost like how they say when you're back against the wall or when you're hitting rock bottom, ain't but one way up for real.
That's right.
So you decide, and you make moves, towards that goalpost. So, I mean, martial arts, I say that could be a good outlet, encouraging people to link up, like with anyone that's doing something constructive, no matter what it is. And unfortunately, it is a decision that children, young adults as well, are having to make. Is like, I guess, the fast life, or something more constructive. But how you say, make it more appealing. Yeah. Maybe we could have conversations about that. How how you say you get them with the honey type of thing. But it's so real and so raw when you see it live and direct. You see the effects of it, and you also say that just because you quote unquote have more grace or discernment or discipline about yourself, it doesn't make you a sucker. You're actually more potent, and you actually, in turn, you become more of a so-called threat to this overall society, because one thing that this system doesn't want you to do is be a critical thinker. They want you to have your marbles lost and such like that. But again, I appreciate this conversation. I'm locking arms with you. Again, I don't want to promote any type of senseless violence, but again, it's beyond the color, and the quiet is kept kind of loud voice in the room is, at the end of the day, when the proverbial stuff hits the fan, personally, I'm not one that's going to be worried about a badge. That's just what it is.
All right.
So prayerfully, we can stay on a place where we keep a peaceful resolve. The forefront, however, just at some point, something got to give, and it's already in that pocket where we are the law.
Andy, if
be
you
righteous in that.
Andy, if you don't give Nazarene the call of the night, I don't know if anybody ever deserves call of the night. That right there, man. We got to let me clean that up. Let me clean up the trophy, because man, that is like a perfect phone call he just gave me. I appreciate you so much, King. This is the type of conversations I love on this broadcast. I love how two brothers can come together. We didn't totally agree, but we came together at the end with some constructive conversation. God bless you and everything you do, okay?
I share right back at you, King. Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Wow. I forgot to ask him about the King of the South. Get inside our YouTube feed and tell me who the King of the South is. Come on, Nazarene. I want to know. I think it's Luda. I think Andy does too, right? Luda, Scarface, T.I. Somebody there? T.I.? I don't know. 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we will get something off my chest. It involves this whole Anita Baker nonsense going on. There's an update. And also, I got the 7 series coming in as well. Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about. Stay there.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. From middays to nighttime. Like George and Wheezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
Tina Turner's hometown to build a statue in her honor. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News. On May 24, news spread of the death of the queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner, who died at 83 years old. Turner's representatives say she died of natural causes after long illness. The mayor of Tina's hometown has since revealed plans to build a statue in honor of Turner. Bill Rawls Jr., mayor of Brownsville, reveals his hope to have the sculpture placed in Heritage Park near the high school Tina attended as a teenager. She was born in the same town in 1939. Rest in peace to the queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner. I'm Maisha Cairo for KBLA Talk 1580, and that's your K-Black Minute News.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talent, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingarone, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Kwamel, by the way. He wants a verse. If we do Self-Destruction 3.0, he wants to jump on. Send me something, man. You gotta send me something. I'm not just taking some cat that think he got bars when he taking a shower or something, because everybody got bars in the shower. I'm nice. I told you. I'm quite the singer in the bathroom. I'm Teddy Pendergrass on the toilet and Luther Vandross in the shower. I'm telling you, I'm fantastic. Send me something. DannyMoShow@gmail.com. If you got something, if you're nice with it, we just might do something. By the way, Nazarene jumped in and said, I have not heard anyone with a verse more potent than Andre 3000 delivered on that song 16. So for me, off the strength of that alone, our brother 3 Stacks gets the vote from me. You can make the case. That was one of our 5, right? You can make the case. By the way, coming up at the top of the hour, I got another Pulse 101 interview that you need to hear. He's a friend of the program, longtime friend of the Danny Mo Show. I needed a black man to come in here and not only works with young black men that can effectively articulate their internal struggles, idiosyncrasies, and sensibilities, someone with mentoring experience like myself, but someone who was also a devoted father. And I got just the guy. You all know him, I'm sure. Damian Rowe coming back up in here. Inside my Pulse 101, coming up at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. Get ready for some serious man talk tonight. I got some Upon Further review clips will drop as well. And by the way, tonight is my swag bag giveaway night. In the third hour, I will ask for you guys to call. And we will take caller 2 in the third hour. And that person will be hanging out with some of your favorite talk show hosts and some amazing artists who will be performing live on stage, food, drink, dancing, lots of fun as we celebrate our 2nd anniversary as your favorite talk radio station. That's going to be caller number 2. In the third hour, I will give you the cue to call at 1-800-920-1580 and somebody coming to hang with the KBLA family for our Juneteenth celebration, okay? And can I get something off my chest real quick here? We'll try to get to the 7 series as well, by the way. This rant is pretty disappointing, by the way. You all probably heard me last night sharing the news about R&B songstress Anita Baker and R&B producer and singer Babyface beefing over Black Twitter after a complete misunderstanding occurred at the Prudential Center last month that I was praying wouldn't have long-lasting effects and sour the entire tour for good. It looks like a sad update to the story occurred today. But before I bring you that news, let's recap what caused this nonsense one more again because Angela Yee was on the case. Listen.
All right, and now let's talk about Miss Anita Baker because she was trending and people were very upset about some things that she said. Well, not that she said, but what she did. All right, so she was performing at the Prudential Center. That's in Newark, New Jersey, and Babyface was also supposed to be opening up, and he didn't get a chance to perform at all. And it was also like 2 hours late that the show started. And now Babyface originally had posted, "I'm truly sorry to my fans who have been waiting for us to hit the stage this evening at the Prudential Center. I was asked not to perform in order to give Miss Baker her space and time to perform her show in its entirety. My band and I are extremely saddened we didn't get to perform for y'all tonight." He was not dragging Anita Baker. He was just apologizing to the fans.
Yes, which is fair.
Because you also want people to know that you just didn't decide, I don't feel like doing this.
It's not my fault, basically, is what Babyface was saying.
But a lot of people weighed in. You know, Jack A. Harry said, "You deserve better." Tony Braxton just put a heart. Tamar put the straight face. Stephanie Mills said, "I hate when this happens amongst our people. We should be thankful that people are still paying money to come to our shows. We're not kids anymore. This makes me really sad to see and read this." And Miss Anita Baker has responded.
Okay, what does Miss Anita Baker say?
And we told you guys this yesterday from our own firsthand information. There were some tech issues with the television, and that's what really prevented them from performing on time. And so when asked, "Hey, would you mind if Babyface took some of your time?" Anita Baker said, "No, I want to do my whole set."
Yes.
So that's a tough one because I'm sure she did want to do her whole set.
Well, yeah, because that's what she did.
All right, so she posted, 65 years old, happy, trending, played our 120th sold-out concert through tech issues. To our amazing fans, God is good, hashtag Anita Baker.
Okay.
So that's all she responded. I'm trending, and these shows are selling out, baby.
That was a little spicy response.
She gets a little spicy on social media.
She gets a lot of spicy on social media.
And she got more spicy this morning. Because, Andy, I believe we got breaking news, right? For those that don't know already, we have breaking news. Danny Mo Show breaking news, right? Because Anita Baker has officially kicked Babyface off of her tour. Anita Baker booted Babyface right on his baby face, right? According to Variety magazine, Anita Baker is flying solo for the remainder of her songstress tour after going on a Twitter tirade about the harassment she has been allegedly receiving from Babyface fans. Quote, "After silently enduring cyberbullying, verbal abuse, and threats of violence from the fan base of our special guest support act, in the interest of personal safety, I will continue the songstress tour alone. Appropriate refunds will be made. Blessings," Baker wrote on Tuesday alongside a fresh tour poster that no longer featured Babyface. In a statement shared with Variety by his representative, Babyface addressed the situation, saying, quote, "I am saddened by the news that Anita Baker has decided to remove me from the songstress tour. It's unfortunate and disheartening to see how things have played out via social media. While I was looking forward to the rest of the dates, I have nothing but love and respect for Anita, and I wish her the best for the remainder of the tour," end quote. The singer-songwriter and acclaimed producer was previously billed as a surprise guest on Baker's 15-city tour that kicked off earlier this February in Florida and is slated to run through December 23rd show at Oakland Arena, after Babyface's opening set was unexpectedly slashed from a May 10th show at the Prudential Center in New Jersey. And why does this matter? Huh? And why do I need to get it off my chest tonight? Because I'm always trying to look out for the young kings and queens. Nazarene and I were just kind of going back and forth about some of the trials that a lot of these young brothers go through, right? As it relates to gun violence, right? But let me tell you what is a popular conversation I share with young African Americans all the time, is that we are fraudulent. Yeah, us, Generation X and older. Yeah, I see y'all criticizing how volatile the younger kids are all the time, or how volatile they look all the time. Always aggressive out there. We criticize their aggression. We criticize their hypersexuality. We criticize their diminishing belief in God. And we criticize their lack of respect for their elders. And here we are, once again showing that we can't set the example and get along with each other either. We know better. They don't listen to the OGs because they don't believe the OGs are practicing what they preach. They don't listen to the churchgoers because so-called Christians are some of the most hypocritical and judgmental people on planet Earth. And they don't collaborate with or listen to the old school and classic black artists because not only are they the collective catalyst of this 90s gangster thug mentality, but they continue to exemplify the lifestyle by behaving in the exact same way as the lyrics they sing or rap to hip-hop and R&B artists alike. Sorry, it's true. SWV and Escape are still beefing. Mac 10 and Ice Cube, still beefing. Diddy and Mace, still beefing. Brian McKnight and his whole family, still beefing. Neo and all of his 15 exes, still beefing. Kanye and everybody with a breath is beefing, right? And now, Anita Baker and Babyface are beefing? I find it ironic and downright disappointing that two of the most soulful sources of the slow jam have been so vitriolic towards one another this past few weeks. For real. We are supposed to be the generations that are proving that love belongs back into our music and into our communities, yet Anita and Babyface are proving that all of those classic songs of love that they've given us over the last 4 decades may have been nothing but lip service. So my hope, my wish, my prayer is that Anita and Babyface did some soul searching and find some peace in the midst of all the nonsense, and cooler heads will prevail for everybody's protection. But I also pray that the next time Anita Baker sings her classic song, I Apologize, the words are sent in Babyface's direction. But that's just me. But right now, in the time we got left, Andy, let's jump right to the 7 Series. Let's go. Come on.
One topic, 7 answers. It's time for the 7 Series on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
7 fathers that deserve a happy Father's Day today. We're going to give it to him. Number 1, that father that has a terrible relationship with the mother, yet and still never speaks negatively of her because she's the mother of his children. Shout out to that daddy, because there's a lot of daddies out there just be throwing them under the bus, man. She won't let me see my kids. Lying. Stop it. Always build up the mother of your children, man, regardless, man, because your kids are listening and watching. Here's number 2. That father that pays his child support and still has no issue with additionally spending his own money on his children, whether or not they reside with him. I see y'all kings out there. I ain't buying no basketball shoes because she could take that right out of child support. Come on, man. It's like $100. Come on, man. Stop, all right? Annie ain't nodding, by the way. I don't know. You ain't got no kids. You can't even speak on these shows right now. Here's number 3. That stepfather that has stepped in and taken the place of a bad father in a child's life without complaint. We all know them. Matter of fact, we all got a bunch of them around us, right? Possibly in our own personal lives, right? That is a real father right there, man. A man that can step in and take on somebody else's children and treat them as their own. Sometimes even giving them their last name. It happens all the time. Here's number 4. That father that understands that his behavior is always being watched by his children and strives to live as positive a life as possible to be a lifelong inspiration to them, never placing friends or females before his own children. Here's number 5. That father that wakes up every day and loves the pitter-patter of the little feet running to wake him up, sharing cocoa in bed and watching cartoons all morning with his babies. Here's number 6. That father that exercises as much restraint as possible throughout his child's upbringing, knowing the repercussions of showing too much anger, fury, and resentment can damage his seeds for a lifetime. And here's number 7. That father that is bold enough to introduce his children to a relationship with God, providing the balance that they'll need on their own life's journey, aware that the devil's always working to attack their child. Because I believe God is the only answer. Whatever God you serve. News and traffic right now. Damian Rowe inside my Post 101 on the other side. Danny Mo Show. Stay there.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Authorities in Philadelphia have recovered a body along I-95 where a tanker caught fire over the weekend. That eventually led to the collapse of an elevated portion of the interstate on Sunday morning. Governor Josh Shapiro has since declared an emergency declaration with the goal of accelerating repairs to the heavily traveled roadway. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is looking for another police commissioner following the abrupt resignation